Hi, my name is Sally Knocker from Meaningful Care Matters. I'm going to be talking with you for a short presentation about some of the ideas that we've been hearing about from our care partners at Meaningful Care Matters across the UK, Ireland, Canada, Australia, the USA and even beyond, about some of the things that we are all doing to try and cope with this unprecedented crisis that obviously is hugely stressful and changing moment by moment for all of us. And I think it's very easy to feel overwhelmed, sometimes very depressed, sometimes angry. All of these emotions are going on for us. How do we show compassion and reassurance behind these horrible masks and visors and things that we're having to put on to protect people and ourselves? How do we help families feel connected with their loved ones when they can't visit, which must be so enormously stressful for people? How do we, in very busy work days, still find the time to be with people when we're often understaffed and facing very difficult pressures on all our staff teams? So what I wanted to do was really share some of the things we're hearing about, and I'm going to look at three particular areas. The first area is looking at what meaningful really means and how we, this time more than ever, need to look at individual life stories and what matters to individuals that we work with, so that the interventions, the approaches that we use really connect with that person's unique history, interests, and the things which will help them feel reassured at this time. And the second area is to look at the use of the internet and technology to hopefully provide lots of opportunities for engagement, connection, entertainment. And the third and final area, I suppose, to emphasise is that sometimes it doesn't take very long to change a moment. Sometimes it's the little things that can really make a difference. So to start with the first area, looking at the concept of meaningful. And a wonderful example of this came recently from one of our Canadian partners, where COVID-19 swabs were being taken of residents in a butterfly household in Ontario. And obviously very stressful, paramedics arriving at 9 p.m. at night to go into people's bedrooms to do a quite invasive procedure, taking mouth swabs from people. And Mary described how important it was when she was going into people's rooms to obviously open the curtains, to create connections, to sort of reassure people, but using her knowledge of the people living there to make it less stressful. So, for example, with a gentleman who had a financial background, to talk about stocks and shares and things that were obviously relevant to his interests and his job past. And when we think about that, we can think of other people we've worked with for whom talking about breeds of pig or Jane Austen novels or all sorts of different interests that might make a difference to us, linked to our pasts. And that life story connection is so important for care staff to hold on to when they're providing comfort and reassurance to people. Another lovely example in one of a home I've been in touch with in New Zealand, where they have a cat called Princess, and Princess the cat is a great favourite and spends a lot of time with individuals throughout the day. And there was some discussion in the last week about whether Princess the cat could remain in the home during the crisis. And when they discussed the risks associated with having the cat, many of the staff who were working there actually said, what's more important here? Princess the cat is one of our most valuable resources. So Princess the cat is staying in the home at this time because she is a part of helping people still feel safe and comforted. The second focus is looking at the use of the internet. At the press of a button, we have so much on tablets, on iPads, to help people stay in touch with their families through video calls, and we're hearing wonderful stories of people being able to talk to family members who are no longer able to visit using different video conferencing call methods. And how reassuring to see the face of your loved one in the home when you can't visit, when it must be a desperately worrying time for people. But also on the internet, we know that entertainers, museums, libraries, art galleries, all our favourite musicians and comedians are putting on lots of free resources for us. So we can connect in with a few searches on the internet to the thing that might be of interest for us. For some people it might be a religious service on Sunday. For other people it might be poetry. For me recently, I've enjoyed Anthony Hopkins playing the piano with his cat, Patrick Stewart doing his daily Shakespearean sonnets. And another lovely thing on the internet, which I'm enjoying personally, is a Facebook social group called View from My Window, which basically is posting thousands, if not millions, of pictures from people all over the world sharing the view from their window. And literally it is an international group, probably several million strong. And I've just often thought, wouldn't it be lovely for some care homes to post some of those pictures on some kind of slideshow, so that the people living in the home, whether in their bedrooms or in living room areas, can have a sense of virtual travel as they watch all the places in the world that are being shared. The third message that I wanted to share today was the importance of using yourself in a very sort of active sense, particularly when you've got so many masks and protective gowns and all the PPE that we're wearing. We've got to work harder to use our eyes, to use our facial expressions other than our mouths, to sort of show that we're present. Obviously our hand movements, all of those things need to be more enhanced to give reassurance to people. But we can also use funny props. We're hearing about lots of silly things like this little pig hats to create a kind of playful moment, to use feather boas like this one to, again, lessen the sense of that sort of fearful feel of some of the PPE equipment. And what we're hearing from our partners is actually many people living with dementia aren't as frightened as we might expect with the masks, because they're getting the essence of us. If we really convey that through our presence, through our eyes, which we know are the window to our soul, many people living with dementia aren't nearly as frightened as we might expect, because they're getting that real true sense of us being there and being present. And it is through small moments. Maybe it's through bursting into song, or housekeepers dancing down a hallway with their feather dusters, those sort of playful moments that kind of lift the spirits. I know one personal support worker saying that she put a sign on her mask saying, "Trust me, I'm smiling under the mask." And some people wearing pictures of themselves on their chest so that people know who the person is. Obviously it's harder to recognise someone under the mask. All these lovely things are happening, and they don't actually take too long. I think that's the key message, isn't it? That although many of the care homes we're working with are understaffed and facing enormous pressures, which we can't underestimate, it doesn't take a lot sometimes to reach out and show that you care about someone. And we're hearing so many heartwarming stories about this. I wanted to end with just a short story of my own. A few years ago, my partner was in hospital, and I played on my iPhone Freddie Mercury's "I Want to Break Free," and the whole ward came to life and started to dance. And I'm thinking that the Freddie Mercury song "I Want to Break Free" might be quite a good message for some of us at the moment who are feeling very under stress and wanting to break free. So I hope that these ideas that I've shared today will give you some comfort in these difficult times, and thank you very much for listening.